Hello, my name is Tylluan Penry. I'm a solitary pagan witch and the founder of the Wolf and Howl Press. Today's little chat is about offerings and sacrifices. And in a way it carries on a bit from what I was saying about what is paganism and what people believe about pagans and witches. And one of the great things people always like to have a go at is human sacrifices. Now, undoubtedly, there were human sacrifices made in the past. And I apologise for the barking. This is Noah. He's sacrificing his barking out there. The trouble is that it is wrong to go looking for things where they do not exist. And also people get very defensive about it and they're like, oh no, we don't make any sacrifices. So I'd like to explain a little bit about what a sacrifice is. The word sacrifice originated in very old Indo-European and Proto-Celtic words meaning things that are brought, offerings. Now, when we offer something, we bring it, whether it's plant, animal, or what have you. And certainly you find offerings that were made, say, in Anglo-Saxon times, in the heathen Anglo-Saxon times, where they would offer meat as part of a ritual meal. Plants can be offered, all sorts of things can be offered. You can make an offering using incense, which uses dried plant material usually. And when you burn it, it ceases to exist in the everyday world. It changes form. It turns into smoke, and the smoke rises upwards, which carries the offering up towards sky deities or towards other worlds. I mean, one thing about smoke, isn't it, that it rises up perhaps and it's all thick and opaque, and then it just goes away into nothing. So that's one form of offering. Another form is what's called a libation. Now, in years ago, you would have things like libations of milk, honey, oil, wine, and these were poured into the ground. Again, they ceased to exist in their normal form, and they became at one with the earth. So if you were dealing with, say, a chthonic deity, which is a fancy word for deities which are of the earth. If you were dealing with a chthonic deity, then that's a very good way to connect with them, to make an offering that is poured into the earth. And yes, there were people who used blood as well, undoubtedly, because that's what human nature is, isn't it? But the libation is one form. The incense sends it skywards. And it was also possible to make an offering to water. What was done sometimes was that people would they would take objects like swords, cauldrons, jewellery was another, and they would take it out and offer it into a lake, particularly a sacred lake. But what they did beforehand, and this was very important, was they broke it. So not far from where I live, they discovered a big Bronze Age hoard many years ago. Wonderful cauldrons and things like that, but they had all been deliberately broken. And this again was a change of form. Things changed form. They were no longer cauldrons in the everyday world. They were offered into the water, but they were broken. And of course, part of the reasoning behind breaking things as well was that just as you can't use the plant material once it has been burnt, you can't drink wine once it has been poured into the earth, and in the same way you can no longer use swords, cauldrons, spears, jewellery for their original purpose once they have been broken. And my clock is going again. Hang on a second. It is 1 o'clock. We'll see what it says. Anybody's guess. This clock has never told the right time, but it is fun to listen. Let's have a listen. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. 8 o'clock. Oh, that's upset Noah. It's been quite a day today. I don't know what's been annoying the dogs, but something has. Anyway, as I said, those are different ways to make offerings. None of them bloodthirsty. And I think I'll finish that here. It's something to think about anyway. If you want to make an offering, don't let anything stop you. There are lots of ways of doing it. And I think this is very important to understand, you know. We have to be inventive. We have to be creative. Our ancestors were certainly creative and inventive. Oh, and I think this is something we need to do again. And, you know, next time you hear the word sacrifice, don't immediately think of murdering people or killing poor animals. Realise that sacrifices are offerings. And on that thought, I will leave you before the dogs go completely berserk. Okay, thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.